we have new number 11, which we added last time. It's bold. We both get excited about it. It's an interesting issue. And it's the subject matter of a lot of games and how the law changes and games get played. So number 11 is characterizing or mischaracterizing employees / 1099s independent contractors. What's the big deal? Why can't we do that?
You know, a lot of business owners, when they're starting out, loves to categorize people as 1099s, independent contractors, because they don't have to pay payroll tax on them, and no Social Security, no Medicare, and we find that's why business owners do it a lot of times. But the IRS will eventually realize that if someone should be characterized as a W-2 employee and you're not doing it, they're going to come back and come after you a little bit. And financially, there could be a lot of unnecessary penalties and taxes that you're going to owe down the road that are a lot more severe than you would have incurred had you just done things appropriately from the get-go. And the rules relate to how much the employee works, and there's a lot of, I'm sure you can elaborate on the legal requirements in terms of the classification distinction between the two. But financially speaking, it could really harm the business down the road in terms of depleting cash flow or other assets of the business to make up for their error.
Yeah, I think that I agree with everything you just said. You can't just choose what's convenient. To go back, I think we mentioned in our last video, the law changed with the Affordable Care Act, that businesses were required to carry insurance if they were of a certain size. I believe it was 50 employees or more. And so people started to, I guess people around, give or take, 10? Can't be too obnoxious with it, but I guess, around 50, give or take, plus or minus, they started to recharacterize their people so they wouldn't have to carry the insurance, because it's a huge, financial commitment.
Yep.
And, aside from the general gamesmanship that goes on just to, minimize taxes, that was a big driver that kind of put it on the radar. So we could probably do a whole session on this too, and probably should. The IRS looks at it from a substantive point of view. They do not look at it by what you call yourself or what you write in the contract that you are.
We're going to look back to first year of grad school when all they talked about was substance over form. So you're bringing back my lovely memories back at US.
I love about the law that nobody else loves about the law, but I love about the law that it's substantive. It's really like, what's the essence of things, not so much like what's on the surface. And so when you look at a person and their relationship with a company, you can put aside the labels all day. What do they do? How do they do it? When do they do it? Where do they do it? Under whose direction, control, equipment. Just there's so many different levels of analysis that goes into it. And, of course, if it gets audited, it's like a colonoscopy, and it's going to be unpleasant. So
everyone knows how fun those are.
I will not speak on that one. But the bottom line is that, yes, at the end of the day, there is savings if you're a contractor in terms of payroll taxes. I think it's just round numbers, 7.5% per employee and the employer, right? So 15% is the difference. There's penalties, interest, and it's a crime if you don't.
Payroll tax is an interesting topic right now with the executive order that's currently being proposed, and what that may do to businesses next year who don't account for things correctly, and what that might do to people who think they're getting bigger paychecks now, who will likely have to make up for it next year.
Haimo Law.